What up? What up? Somebody has my my original spot that I'm normally in, so excuse me for 1 second while I find a better spot here. Yo, come on in, y'all. I got the tea. All right, we got the courthouse behind me. New spot. Let's take this off quickly. Come on in, come on in. I told you guys that I would be back after after lunch. This is the conclusion for the day. I am at why is this so high? Is it catching me? I'm at 500 Peel Street in front of the courthouse. Sean Diddy Combs coming out live again. I'm on pins and needles. What up? I've been waiting. The journey. Trent, what up? Yes. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. All right. Let me get to where I'm at while you guys load up in here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about today. Woo! Let me see who's in here. I've been waiting. Hi, hey Trent. My boy Trent spilled the tea. Somebody said I'm scared. Hello everyone. Trent from Chicago. What up, Joyce? All right, I'm gonna wait like just a minute for everybody to come in. Anybody who's new, I am Trent Out Loud. I am reporting live from inside of the courtroom of the Diddy trial. Today was probably one of the biggest days so far. Jane, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, wrapped up her testimony today. Well, wrapped up cross-examination. She was pretty much on the stand the entire week. I think she started on Friday. Jane finally wrapped, and it was a huge, huge day. All right. What I am gonna do is, I know some people already listened to the lunchtime show. At the lunchtime show, we stopped right at the biggest part of the bombshell. I left you guys a little bit of a cliffhanger because I had to go back. I'm gonna just run through that really, really quickly. For those of you who have heard that, just hang in. I'm gonna do this very, very quickly, and then we're gonna go on to the continuation of exactly where I stopped off at lunchtime today, okay? So quick recap for those who missed the lunchtime show. So this is day 22. It started off with a 30 to 40 minute back and forth between the lawyers. The prosecution was trying to get in a notes from Jane's phone. You guys know sometimes before you text somebody something serious, you write it in your notes. They had a what they thought could have overwhelmingly proven their case, and it was a little sentence in the note. Jane saying that 98% of the time she felt like she didn't want to do freak-offs. They were going back and forth to see if that would be admissible. Sorry if I keep checking behind me, but Diddy's mom and kids and some celebrities keep popping up or whatever. And there was a big celebrity that was here today trying to get in. So I just want to make sure I don't see anybody here, but I will tell you everything about it. Stay tuned. So the lawyer started off today at 9 a.m. For those of you who don't know, the trial doesn't start off right off the bat. It's not like jury and testimony. They kind of just, it's like a prep where it's like, okay guys, before we start, any issues on each side, you guys could decide, you know, what evidence you want and whatever, blah, blah. So they only have around 20 or 30 minutes to, you know, talk about things before in this case, the victim or who was ever testifying or the jury comes in. Today was the most intense trying to get these notes in back and forth. Diddy has a masterful team. I attribute Diddy's defense team to being like it's like an all-star game, man. Like an East Coast, West Coast all-star team in basketball. He has one defense lawyer, Jason Drills. He looks like he's 18 years old, but he's like a savant. Whenever there's any sort of case law, this guy is like boom, up, boom, 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 and it was back and forth. It's been 2 days. I wasn't able to tell you guys this at lunch, but they did tell us after lunch. The judge sided on Diddy's defense. They had a huge win. They did not allow the prosecution to put that very credible sentence in as inadmissible for evidence. It was not able to be admitted as evidence. That sentence of saying 98% of the time, I really didn't want to do freak-offs. We, the people in the court, know it, but the jury will not be able to get that sentence. So they started off with a huge win. Diddy's team is amazing. I also have some inside information for you guys on juror number 6. We have talked about juror number 6 for the past couple of days now. I have inside information from somebody on Diddy's team that told me the issue with juror number 6 that is going to be that has already been brought up from the prosecution, it is not exciting. Whatever it is that they feel that they're going to bring up, it's almost to be the point where it's not exciting and not admissible. And they are telling me that there's no way the judge will allow juror number 6 to be stricken. Just to be clear, the judge has not made his decision yet on juror number 6. However, I have inside information from somebody on Diddy's team. I can't reveal the source, but it's direct information, a direct source from some people who are talking on the defense team, whereas this is a salacious argument. It will have no grounds. Juror number 6, we do know it is a black juror. Diddy's defense team is accusing the government, accusing the federal government of trying to get a black juror off of the trial. As you guys know, this is going to be a race trial. When Diddy's defense team gets to putting on their case is going to be centered around race. We don't have to get into that too much today. Linda Arnold with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I need some lunch money or dinner money. I've eaten all day. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, so it will be about race, and it's already starting. So I assume the judge is going to weigh on that decision tomorrow. However, before it comes out, we can be 99.9% sure that the Diddy's defense team is going to win. The prosecution, whatever they're going to try to bring up, is boring, not exciting, and actually has no grounds or no merit. Also, I like to always start off by letting you guys know the feeling in the court. Whenever you see like inner city press who's tweeting or anybody's like reading transcripts, that's one thing, but being inside the court, being 10 feet away from Diddy walking in saying, yo, what's up to the people who are in the courtroom. The courtroom is big, but it's not that big. We are all there together in one room. Diddy walks in, he always says, what's up? He has met eye contact with me at least 10 times since I have been here. Yo, what up? He recognizes me. He knows when I'm there. You know, like sometimes if I'm not there and I'm out and I'll come back in, he sees that I'm back in there. And he's developing relationships with people. Obviously, he knows what we're in there doing, so he's trying to come across as this nice guy, right? But y'all know me, I'm staying unbiased. I'm here just to report what I see to you guys, and I'm leaving it up for you guys to make your decisions, all right? By the way, keep on putting your questions in the chat. I will get to them when I'm done with this, just like we did yesterday. I'll spend a good 10 or 15 minutes answering your questions. By the way, the best time to get questions from me is in the mornings before court. I normally go live at around 7:30, and it's just the start of the day, and I don't have all of this inside source and information to relay to you guys, so that is the time where I'm able to answer most of your questions, but I'll still get to some of them today. Anyways, what I was saying is that's what I decided about coming here and being in the court, is I could let you know the feelings of things. And today, Diddy started out looking very, very sleepy. He did not have a good night last night, and there is word that Diddy might have a flu. I got that as a little tip from somebody. He had like this, a rag kind of in his hand, and he was, you know when you wake up in the morning and you stretch, but when you're not feeling good or your body is aching and that you have the flu, you keep on trying to stretch it out. That's how Diddy was in court while people were testifying. He was stretching it out. He looked tired, he looked drained. I don't know exactly what was going on with Diddy, but every 5 minutes, Diddy was stretching. Okay, now I'm gonna get started, 9:15. Normally court starts at 9, but today started at 9:15 because they had that big part of Jane's notes that they were trying to get in, but they didn't. Okay, so as 9:15 got started and we all thought court was gonna start, there was a huge commotion that happened at 9:45. I'm sure this has made it online by now, but I told you guys about it at lunchtime. I'm gonna recap everybody on what happened, and then I'll go in and tell you the whole juice of it, okay? So at 9:45, we think court is about to start. Tenny Garagos and Maureen Comey, the two code lead defendant in the prosecution, we see them start whispering. That's not how things are supposed to go. Then you start seeing the whole prosecution table start whispering. Then Diddy's team starts whispering. And all of a sudden, Maureen and Tenny go outside. And I'm like, they just said that court was gonna start. Why are they going outside? Y'all know me, I'm nosy. I open the door, I go outside, and I see them looking at the list of people that are allowed in. Like my name is on there, and whoever's in there, you can't just walk in, you have to be on the list. And they say to the security guard, make sure nobody comes in here that's not on the list. And I was like, yo, let me see that list. And of course the security guard is like, yo, Trent, back up, you cannot see the list. All right, let me just walk you through the day. So then the security guard starts asking questions amongst themselves. Then more people in the court start to catch on, see you later. More people start to catch on that there's something going on. I go back into court and all of Diddy's lawyers are surrounded by Diddy in a huddle. They're normally sitting at a desk in rows. I walk back in and there's like 15 people huddled around Diddy. Now I know something is going on. Maureen and Tenny are outside. Diddy's lawyers are surrounded by him. Security is running around like we're going through like a fire alarm. The court is in madness. Everybody is super tense. And then I go back outside and Diddy's sons normally roll in at around 9:30, 9:45 as court has started a little bit, like 10 or 15 minutes in. So I'm expecting to see them. So they come as normal, open the door, and somebody on Diddy's team not pushes them, but urges them, yo, don't come out right now, as if like there's something going on. I literally thought there was like a scare or something going on because we still don't know at this time. So Diddy's sons are not allowed on that floor. Somebody, not allowed, but their team was like, yo, don't come up here right now. Now this keeps on going on for 20 or 25 minutes. Everybody is whispering, everybody's huddling around. Then all of a sudden around 10:15, you could see that they somewhat handled the situation because now Tenny Garagos and Maureen Comey, they come around the corner and they're like, it's almost like they were like, woo, yo, and they're laughing like they just accomplished something. We still don't know what's going on. The tension comes down. Diddy's lawyers are still hanging around him, but now Diddy's in his chair laughing. And by the way, I told you he was sleepy. He is definitely wide awake. Diddy, I don't know what sickness or what fluke he had, but whatever was going on, the commotion, he was like, yo, I feel much better. What's up? And you got the feeling as if like Diddy had a win. Then at 10:40, the judge walks in and Mark Agolfino, who is the co-lead counsel with Tenny's partner, says to the judge, I would like to talk to you about what just happened. The judge is like, whoa, hold up. This courtroom is packed with people. We were talking in my chambers. You cannot just tell everybody what was going down. You got to be very careful. Do you want us to clear the courtroom? Mark and Tenny want us to know what's going on. They're like, no, let's not clear the courtroom, but I'll be slick on how I talk to you so they can't pick up exactly what was going on. So then Mark Garagos says, January 2024, the hotel room, that very public event, we understand that we can't tell who Jane Doe is. You all know that Jane Doe, Diddy's ex-girlfriend who's testifying, we can't say her name, but why can't we say the name of the people at this party in the hotel room, January 2024? And he said, but Mark, we just talked about that in our chambers. Why are you talking about it now? Mark says, I want to talk about it in front of Diddy. Really what he wants to do is he wants to talk about it in front of us so that we can come out here and tell you, but he can't tell us that, right? Mark says, listen, this is a public trial and the public has a right to know. The judge says, yes, you could talk about what happened at the hotel room in January 2024. You just can't say any names. He's like, yes, sir, but we would like to talk about the rapper in question. By the way, if you guys haven't picked up yet, hotel room, January 2024, the judge is not trying to let out names. There's a freak-off happening, y'all, with some celebrities, and the prosecution and the judge don't want to let their name out. Diddy's team is like, what is the problem? Jane has a court order, Jane Doe. There's other people like Mia that has that was able to use pseudonyms. Why can't we talk about a celebrity freak-off and give out the names? The judge says that he is not allowing it. That was the big commotion. Now, I think this is where I left off. So the judge now, so Tenny now gets back on the podium where she talks, and she said, you know what, Mark, it's okay. Judge, I just changed around my questioning, and I will omit names. However, I'm still going to be able to insinuate so people could pick up on who we're talking about. The judge was like, all right, no problem. Stay tuned. I will tell you who the rapper is and what went down. So all that commotion, trying to keep things under wrap. Ultimately, the defense lost because they weren't able to name the names. However, Tenny, what's the word I'm looking for? She is letting us know that she'll be able to tell us indirectly. Indirectly is what I'm trying to look for, okay? So, court starts. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to the freak-off, okay? It's maybe like 2 pages away, all right? So now everybody's up to date who's in the chat. Lunchtime. Sorry that I had to put you through that, but there's new people here. I had to bring everybody up to speed. So everybody's on the same page now, okay? So This is the last day of cross-examination. We have talked about 2021, 2022. Today starts off with November 2023. Cassie's lawsuit goes public. You guys remember, November 2023, Cassie's lawsuit goes public, okay? Diddy and Jane are over. Jane, who is testifying today. And Diddy is trying to call Jane. If you guys don't remember, for those who didn't see my live from yesterday, the reason why Jane was so mad when she saw Cassie's lawsuit is the fact that Jane has always been under the impression for the past 3 years that she is the only one that he's ever done freak-offs with. Of course she knows he's a big celebrity and he's with a bunch of other women, but the actual freak-off part of it, he made her feel like it was special, and he only did that with her. He wasn't doing it with Young Miami, he wasn't doing it with Gina. That was their own little special thing, and that's why it had to be kept secret from everybody else, because that is just between them. When she found out, when Cassie's lawsuit went public, she said she read, there's 3 pages back to back that sounded exactly like her, and we know that now, but at that time she didn't know that. So they were together at that point. That is when she lost it, and she goes, yo, it's over. I cannot believe you were doing the same thing with Cassie 10 years ago. She's suing you for 30 million. Why are you still doing this with me? And why are you trying to make me feel special? So Diddy and Jane break up November 2023, okay? This is what's very important. Now, Diddy is calling her frantically. Hey, Roberta gave me a super chat. Thank you, Roberta, my homie Roberta. So Diddy is trying to call her. She's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I can't believe you lied to me this whole time. You made me feel like I was special. I'm not special. You have been doing this with Cassie. Then Jane says that she's really depressed. This relationship has hit a wall. This is too hard. It's over for me. Diddy said, Diddy said that he had no idea that she would feel this way about him not telling her about Cassie. He's like, I just didn't want to tell you because I didn't think it was going to hurt you. It's not that I didn't, I didn't tell you about Cassie, not because I didn't think it was going to hurt you. I just didn't think it was a big deal. You know how guys are, they're going to try to make something of it. He damn well knows that if he told her about Cassie, then it takes out, even though the Jane didn't like it, it still takes out the specialty of it. He was trying to make her feel special. So he's trying to get her back by saying, yo, I had no idea that you felt that way. Diddy says, listen, I don't want to argue about Cassie. The public now, I've just been outed by Cassie. I have all of this pressure on me, and now on top of it, you're breaking up with me. And you guys know it's not the fact that she's breaking up with him, it's the fact now that he has nobody to do freak-offs with, because he doesn't do it with anybody else but her and Cassie, right? It would be very, very hard-pressed to find a girl at that level to just call up and be like, yo, let's do some freak-offs, right? And plus, I think you really like doing it with Jane. So he asked her, he's like, yo, Jane, what is the solution? I don't want to talk about the problem. What's the solution? He says, I don't want to fight. Diddy says, charge me with resentment. Jane says, all right, fine. You know what I want? Because now she's inspired by Cassie's lawsuit. She tells Diddy, I want $100,000 per month. I want $50,000 rent. I want $45,000. So she starts demanding money from Diddy. By the way, don't forget, this is in testimony. The jury is hearing, although that Jane has not set up a lawsuit, they are now finding out that the minute Jane found out about Cassie, she breaks up with Diddy and then starts demanding money from him. How does that look? Does that look like somebody who's SEX trafficked for forced fraud and coercion? And by the way, those who don't follow daily, Jane is on the stand from the prosecution to try to prove that Diddy was SEX trafficking her under forced fraud and coercion. Now, this is the defense cross-examination, and defense is bringing this up. You found out about Cassie, you got mad. Did you leave? No, I didn't leave. What did I do? I asked them for money. Cassie just asked him for 30 million. Of course I'm gonna ask him for something. Why she went so low, I don't know. Why would you ask a billionaire for $100,000? I would have been like, yo, you just had to pay Cassie $30 million. Now we know it's 20 million, but at that time everybody thought it was 30 million. You just have to pay Cassie 30 million and you got exposed. You did the exact same things with me, maybe even worse. And then she gets on the phone and is like, yo, I'm breaking up with you unless you give me $100,000. Jane, next time you're in these situations, call me. I would have made sure you asked for 50 million. Well, the reason why he paid Cassie the 30 million is because he knew that something like this would happen and he'd be in this courthouse. Trust me, that was the time where she should have hit him up for millions of dollars. I don't know why she asked for 100,000, but anyways, let me not get ahead of myself. All right, so she says, yeah, for all these nights that I have to do all of these freak off, these hotel nights, and take all these DRUGs and do all of this stuff for you, nah, I want money. So Diddy is like, no, I'm not doing that. I just paid Cassie. He walks away, but he walks away because he knows that she's not serious and he can get her back every time. So Diddy's like, yo, let me just let this girl calm down. Like I've told you for the past 2 days, that is their relationship. Daniel, thank you very much for the super chat, man. Thank you, appreciate that, man. You just found out about me today. Welcome to NYC. Thank you for the welcome, man, thank you. So Diddy knows how to handle Jane. Diddy knows, yo, let her blow up, do her thing, she'll eventually come back. That's their relationship, it's very, very toxic. So that was, I started off with November the 23rd, now we're at January 2024. Jane and Diddy are officially broken up. Now, under oath, Jane testifies that as she has broken up with Diddy, she gets $9,000 from a friend of hers named Bear. I told you guys about this, I think it was when she was up on the prosecution, or we heard it from a text message, and I told you guys, I don't really know who Bear is. Today we found out Bear is a gentleman, and he owns a modeling company, or he does something in the modeling field, and he paid her $9,000, and Diddy's defense team was like, yo, who's just gonna give you $9,000? Like, for what reason? She goes, I didn't have to do anything, I didn't have to model. How does that look? As soon as she breaks up with Diddy, the billionaire, within the next month, or right after, she's hitting up Bear for $9,000. Now remember, she just asked Diddy for money. The defense is trying to make it look like Jane is after money, while the prosecution is trying to make it look like she was traffic, force, fraud, and coercion, okay? Now here is where it gets juicy, okay, guys? In January, when they are broken up, Jane goes, listen very, very carefully, okay? I'm gonna give you guys all the hints that Tenny was giving us, and you guys put it in the chat who you think it is, okay? Listen carefully. January, they're broken up. Jane goes to Vegas with one of her friends with a rapper on a private plane because the rapper's girl, it's her birthday. So they're all going to Vegas for a birthday party. This is a rapper, and they go on a private jet. This rapper is very close to Diddy. Now remember, I told you in the morning, it was, you cannot say this rapper's name. Nobody can say this rapper's name. You're gonna find out why in a second, why they can't say this rapper's name. But Tenny is like, I can't say his name, but I can tell you, he's at the top of the music industry. Diddy and him record together. And even if the top of the music industry throws you off, because maybe he might not be on the top right now, Tenny tells us this guy is an icon in the music industry. So top of the music industry, Diddy and him have recorded together. He's an icon living, an icon. I know we have a lot of big people in the music game. How many people are icons that have a private jet in Vegas and it's their girl's birthday? Whoever wants to go Google whose rapper has a birthday in January. That's all I'm saying. And very, very close friends with Diddy, okay? So while in Vegas with this iconic rapper and his girl celebrating her birthday, Jane testifies, because they have this over text message, that Jane sees Antonio. Now, for those of you who haven't been following, okay, I see you guys in here. Some people are saying Jay-Z, some people are saying Kanye. All right, we'll get back to this. Somebody says, look fishy. All right, we'll get back to this. I'm also gonna give you a little hint. That rapper may have tried to do something today, but hold on, I'll tell you guys that at the end, okay? So while she's in Vegas at this party, she sees Antonio, who's an SEX worker, okay? And we have heard before that her and Antonio and Diddy has done freakoffs together. So she walks into this party, and who does she see? She's like, oh shit, Antonio, what up? What are you doing here? She's like, yo, I'm here with this iconic rapper because it's his girl's birthday. What are you doing here? He's like, yo, I'm here working. What does he do? He's a performer. So Jane sees him at dinner. So they're like, okay, what's up? Then the rapper says, yo, this is just the dinner here. I didn't know that you know Antonio. Okay, Jane, you guys know Antonio. Okay, cool. Yo, Jane, come up with me and my girl, and we're gonna go up to the hotel room. This dinner is just for average folk. We icons, you know what I'm saying? We going upstairs. Jane says, all right, I'll go upstairs to the hotel room with you. Jane walks into the hotel room. Guess what Jane sees? Jane sees Antonio having sex with a random woman in a hotel room, and there's a bunch of people around in a circle watching Antonio perform. And there's an iconic rapper there and other iconic people there. There is your celebrity freak-off. You guys have been asking me for days, where's the celebrity freak-off? Is this gonna come into this case? What's going on with this case? We keep on hearing these civil trials. Here is the first time since the start of this trial. When did it start? May the 12th. This is the first time that we're hearing about celebrities having a freak-off with a bunch of people in a room watching. We finally got it, people. We finally got what we've been waiting for. The celebrity freak-off happened. Jane says that she was there. Boom. Who brought that to you first? Your boy, Trent Out Loud. All right. Now, Antonio is there having sex and everybody is watching, okay? Now, the rapper starts flirting with Jane. And remember, I'm not making none of this stuff up. This is stuff that Jane is saying on the stand because the defense has what the prosecution submitted on her cell phone, and all of this is known because it's all in her cell phone. Her whole testimony is all from her phone, her notes and text messages. By the way, asterisks, be very, very careful what you text to people because it can be used against you in a court of law. You never know, the feds might be watching. Just be very careful. For the past, this whole entire week, I have seen literally 2,000 text messages and people are incriminating themselves because they feel that they're just texting on the phone. The government can get access, go through your phone, and you'll be over. You can end up like Diddy too. Get a burner phone and text people stuff. Don't text people on your real phone because nobody would have known any of this if they had burner accounts, all right? Don't say that I said it. I hope the feds are watching. Anyways, Jane says, yes, the rapper was flirting with me. Jane now, today, under cross-examination, when the prosecution brought this up, she just said, I didn't do anything with the rapper. I just was up there. He was flirting with me. I left. Today, Diddy's defense team says, hey, Jane, while you were talking about this with the prosecution, because the prosecution brought this up because they knew if they didn't bring it up, the defense would. And what a great lawyer will do is bring a situation that you can't hide and bring it up, but try to paint the picture as beautiful as possible before the defense gets to the point. So the defense was like, oh, the prosecution thought they were slick by bringing up this party and that Antonio was there and you were there. But they failed to mention one very important thing. Do you know what that important thing is, Jane? Jane is like, I don't know. They said, Jane, did you flash the entire room your breasts? Yo, Jane is on trial because the prosecution is telling us that she was sex trafficked under force, fraud, and coercion. Diddy is no longer in the picture. Diddy is broken up. Jane is on a plane with an iconic rapper and his girl. They are at a dinner. They're going up to a hotel room. One of the sex workers that she's supposedly been forced to be with is there. They're talking, having a good time. She's there with the iconic rapper and she's opening up her shirt and showing not the iconic rapper, not Antonio, but the rapper Antonio and the entire room her breast. That is going to be very, very hard to convince a jury under using this testimony to send Diddy to jail thinking that he forced, fraud, and coerced her. Now, keep in mind, we still have other witnesses. There's still Mia, there's still Cassie. I'm just really focusing on this because this is today. I'm giving you a recap of today. I do think Diddy has committed a bunch of crimes. I do think Diddy is guilty. I think he has mistreated women. I think Diddy has a bunch of problems, mental, etc., or whatever. I think Diddy should be in jail. Just want to make that clear because there's a lot of new people here. However, I am bringing you the legal standpoint and the daily events. The defense had a huge, huge win. It's very, very hard to convince somebody that they're trafficked when they've broken up with the guy, he's not there, and she's showing her boobs to the entire room, all right? So, the rapper continues, after she flashes her boobs, the rapper continues to say, you're very beautiful, and I've always wanted to F you. Remember, they're very close to Diddy, they're iconic, and they've worked together, but this rapper is like, yo, you're beautiful, I want to F you, okay? The rapper also asked Jane if she knows anybody else that's in the lifestyle. What lifestyle do you mean? The lifestyle that Antonio was providing, where you could just hire this guy, bring him to a room with a bunch of other people in there, probably some other celebrities, and help Anton out. Because we want to have more parties like this, but we just don't want to just have Anton here. What does Jane say? Oh, of course I know some other people. I know Cabal. Now, for those of you who've been watching every day, Cabal is another one of the favorites that Jane and Diddy use for their freak-offs. Now again, I have to ask you guys, the prosecution was telling us for 2 or 3 days that Jane is SCX traffic under force, fraud, and coercion. If she's at a party in January and somebody asks her, yo, do you know of anybody else? Why would she give this rapper the name of another performer so that he could go and do this to another person who might be S-trafficked as well? Why would she engage in that? Just a horrible decision. Anyways, the rapper asked her if she knows anybody else. Jane suggests Cabal. Then Diddy's defense team, this is a very smart question. He says, why would the rapper ask you this? Jane says, I don't know, maybe my energy. I could come across like I know about this stuff. What does that mean? What does that mean? And that's verbatim. I don't know, my energy, it comes off like I can know this stuff. You're making yourself look like you are part of this world and you want to be part of this world. The prosecution should have coached her better for that. Why did he ask you that? I don't know. I didn't even want to be there. If I were her, I would have been like, yo, I went on the jet just to get away. I broke up with Diddy. I just wanted to get away. When I saw Antonio there, I was shocked. The minute I went up in that hotel room, I wanted to leave, but it's going to be hard because maybe they have witnesses. But even if she says, okay, don't worry, you're good, bro. Don't worry. It's all good. Appreciate you. Yeah, she can't say that whatever there's witnesses, she has to be careful. But I'm sure nobody heard the rapper whisper that in her ear. So if I was her, if I was on the stand and they said, hey, well, why did this rapper ask you if you know any other entertainers? I would have been like, I have no idea. He's sick. He's disgusting. I wouldn't have said, I don't know. I give off that kind of energy? Bro, that's a very, very bad answer. Anyways, let's fast forward to February 2024. Now, I'm going to give you 4 or 5 pages of rundown. I'm going to get through it pretty quickly so I could go back and tell you what also was happening today, why people were freaking out. It wasn't only Jane and them trying to hide this name. Somebody else came, but I'm going to end off the video with that, okay? So that was November I told you about. Then I told you January in Vegas. But I also told you through that they take breaks and get back together. So February, Jane and Diddy get back together, okay? She went to see Diddy in Miami. She spent 5 days with Diddy. Diddy set up a very romantic dinner on Star Island. He set up a whole dinner between his 2 homes, Star 1 and Star 2. He had candles between both homes, walking her through both homes. And she said it was very romantic. It was very beautiful. Both of our hearts were beating. We said that we feel like we're high schoolers and we both have butterflies. Now, remember something. Diddy has just found, Jane found out that about Cassie's lawsuit. The entire world knows about Cassie's lawsuit. Of course, Diddy wants to get Jane back. That's part of this romantic kind of setting. But also, let's use our heads here. Diddy doesn't want another lawsuit. Jane is just another Cassie, even more recent. The last thing that Diddy wants is another lawsuit. So of course, that's why he's romanticizing her up, okay? There are no DRUGs at this dinner, but they take a pill after the dinner. Then Dawn comes over, who's another one of their performers. Jane says, I was willing to have SCX with Dawn because Diddy did everything right that day. She's talking about the romance. Again, in text message, the jury gets to hear she wanted to have SCX with Dawn. Not a good thing for them to hear. Jane texts Paul around the same time. Paul is Diddy's, he works with Diddy. He is one of Diddy's trainers. And we found out yesterday that Paul is Jane's favorite SCX worker. She has had the best SCX with him that she's had with anybody in her life. Yes, she said that, and that was including Diddy. Crazy work. Anyways, so now we find out she texts Dom. She was more than willing to have SCX with Dom, and she also texts Paul. And in the text, she says, hi, I'm here in Miami. How are you? And that carries on, okay? Let me try to rush through this. Now, after Miami and the Cassie lawsuit came out, we're gonna get to February, and don't forget, Diddy She says that after the Cassie video and after they got back together, Diddy was a lot better. He was very loving. Even when he used to go on podcasts, he no longer talked about being polyamorous. He no longer talked about being a swinger. And Jane liked that very much. For the past couple of days, we've been telling you the reason why they keep on breaking up and getting back together is that Diddy is around her. They have freak-offs. They chill. They do their stuff. He gets her in a good place, and then he goes off with Young Miami and does Carisha Please on a podcast, and it's like, yeah, me and Carisha's been doing this. Yes, remember what he said like on the Breakfast Club, and he always says like all these crazy things, and Jane hears it and gets mad. But is he stopping to do that because of Jane? No, he's stopping to do that because the whole world knows about Cassie and everything that she put in the civil lawsuit. So of course he's not gonna go back out and be like, I'm a swinger, I'm poly. He can't do that anymore. But Jane is captivated by this, and she's wanted him to be this person for the past 2 or 3 years and not go tell the whole world he's poly. So she is very, very happy, okay? Just remember the timeline. Now that was February 2024. Now we're in May 2024. Guess what happens? I'm sure you guys remember. The Cassie CNN tape comes out. After the Cassie CNN tape comes out, Jane is shocked. She can't recognize the Diddy on that camera. She has never seen him put hands on a woman before. This sends Jane off. They don't break up, but she's definitely not happy that he's this type of guy. And of course, now she fears that this might happen to her. June 2024, we did May, this is June. Diddy flies to LA alone. Listen to this, okay? He goes on a family trip, but Jane saw him on social media with the family on a family trip, and she puts in the back of her head, yo, he's not on social media and on podcasts talking about being poly anymore, but knowing him, he's probably on this road trip with his family, but he probably has a girl there. Keep this in the back of your mind, okay? There's no proof, she hasn't seen anything, but because he's away from her and he's on social media on a family trip, she gets a little shook. Now, June 18th, just want to put an asterisk beside this day. If you guys remember, June 18th, when it was the prosecution's time to talk to us about Jane, they told us that this was her big day. Her big day meaning this was the first time that Diddy put hands on her. If you guys remember, there was an issue. She called him the P word. He chased her around the house. He kicked in 4 doors. She ran down the street. I'm not going to go into that again, but this now situation is bringing us to June 18th. But now we have the defense side. Remember, she's being cross-examined, okay? So June 18th, Diddy comes over. There's champagne, there's tequila. It gets dark outside around 8, 9 o'clock. Nobody has taken a pill yet. Jane started the fight around 9:30. Again, for those of you who don't know, during dinner and during this romantic time, she brings up the LA trip and she says to him, yo, I think that you were on the trip with this girl, and calls him a P word, all right? The Kendrick and Drake P word. And she takes his head and she hits it on the counter as he's going to tie his shoe, okay? I hope you guys remember that story. I told you about it 2 days ago. Again, this is the cross-examination. The defense now is trying to break this day down. When I told you about it that day, Diddy looked like a monster. He was putting hands on her, and I told you guys from the prosecution side how they painted the night. It looked, or it sounded like, because we just could picture it, there's no videotape, it sounded from the prosecution side of things like it was worse than what Cassie went through. But now this is the defense team turn to put holes in it. So the defense team says, you didn't have a pill yet, but you started the fight with him at around 9:30. You guys have to remember, yes, Diddy put hands on her, but she admitted that she started the fight. She thinks that Diddy took a girl with her to LA and she slammed Diddy's head on the counter, okay? Jane is jealous about the road trip or whatever calls him a P word. She also throws a candle at Diddy, and then she starts throwing glasses at Diddy, okay? Then she runs and locks herself in the bathroom. Keep in mind, this is a month after the Cassie video. The reason why I'm saying keep in mind is that Jane saw the Cassie video, was like, whoa, I've never known that you're this type of person. But then after time goes by, she sees Diddy on this LA trip. Now, I'm just putting this idea in your head. I don't know if it's true or not, but she might be looking after a couple of weeks and saying, yo, you remember back in January when we broke up, I asked him for $100,000, I didn't get it. Cassie got 30 million. All right, now we saw the Cassie videotape. I saw him putting hands on Cassie. if I ever one day want to get 30 million, maybe I could get him to put hands on me. Again, I'm not saying that, but this is what the defense is trying to put in our head, trying to get us to think, and I'm just trying to tell you what they are doing. So they make us start thinking, yo, she didn't see no proof of no girl on no LA trip. It's supposed to be a family reunion vacation. They're there at their house. Nobody's been drinking. Nobody has any pills. And all of a sudden, she takes Diddy's head, slams it on the counter, and calls him a P word, and then throws candles at him. What is she trying to do? She's trying to antagonize him so that he can put hands on her. Now, I do not condone in any sort of way any man putting hands on a woman, even if a woman does it first. I don't care. No man should put hands on a woman. Period. Period. I'm just saying, it sounds like, and the defense is trying to make it sound like she is trying to antagonize Diddy. And he, from putting his head in the counter, throwing candles, and throwing glass at him that hits him, he has yet to put hands on her. But then she runs into the bathroom. Where am I here? All right. Jane now is yelling from the bathroom, just leave. Jane goes and changes her clothes. As you guys know, she runs out the back. I'm not going to go through the whole story. I'm not going to break it down. Then the defense, says, I just want to tell you guys something. You guys remember in your testimony, Jane, when you said when Diddy was putting hands on you, he was choking you and then he did something to your eye. I want to put up a picture. And Jane is like, okay, great. This is the same picture the prosecution used. It was a picture of a week later after the June 18th. So let's say like June the 25th. She said, yes, we see that you have a little bit of a bruising on your eye, but you also said that Diddy was putting his hands on your neck. Do you see any bruises on your neck here? She's like, no, just in my eye. Again, we're not diminishing it, but the defense is trying to poke holes in her story, saying that, yo, he was, but really, if that's the case, how come there's no marks on your neck? It seems as if maybe Jane was elaborating on her story, okay? Then the defense says, all right, let's go back tonight. Take down that picture. Jane runs away and hides. You already know that. And then Jane comes back and Diddy is there, okay? Jane grabs Diddy's phone. She calls the girl who she thinks she's jealous of. Then she asks the girl, be honest, we on this road trip, we on this LA road trip with Diddy. The girl says, that's not for you to know about and you're worrying about the wrong thing, sis. Jane is like, come on, woman to woman, tell me, were you with my man? Diddy takes back the phone, he hangs it up. Jane runs in the shower and calls Diddy a fraud, a P word, etc., etc. Diddy comes and puts hands on her. Is this a setup or did he put hands on her own? That's for you to decide. All right, things calm down and Diddy asks her, yo, why are we fighting like this? So Diddy starts to come back to himself. Again, super wrong for him to put his hands on her, but then Diddy is like, hold on a second. Why were you throwing candles? Why were you throwing glass? Why were you doing at me? You've never done this. We've been together for 3 years, but the Cassie video came out a month ago and now you're trying to antagonize me? Diddy's an idiot. I would have picked that up in 1 second. You know if a girl is crazy from when you get with her. If you've been with a girl for 3 years, you guys never had no screaming, yelling argument, you should hear Jane. She's super soft-spoken. And you know that Cassie thing came out, the video CNN came out, you know the lawsuit came out. You're telling me Diddy can't put 2 and 2 together and be like, yo, she's throwing candles and glass and she's hitting my head and calling me the P word? You don't think she's trying to antagonize you to do something to her? Diddy's an idiot, man. Anyways, so that is that night. Time passes by, sorry, the night's not over. Time passes by that night because now they're talking. You know, it's like, why did you do that? Why are you trying to get me to do that? You're trying to take my kids away from me, blah, 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 blah. So they calm down. I guess she feels like, shoot, he might be on to me. Like, let me not let him get too crazy. Things calm down. They call Antonio, the guy in Vegas. It's coming back full circle. And they're like, yo, why don't we just call Antonio and he could come over? Jane in her head is like, sure, but she's hoping in her head Antonio doesn't say anything about Vegas, right? Because don't forget, Diddy doesn't know. So Diddy's like, yo, give me your phone. Let me text him through your phone. Jane's like, no, I'll text him through your phone. He's like, no, we don't do that through my phone. I don't have his number. Give me your phone. Diddy goes through her phone, scrolls up, and sees that they saw each other 2 months ago in Vegas. And Diddy's like, what? You saw him 2 months ago in Vegas. Diddy sees in Jane's phone that Jane and Antonio saw each other in Vegas with that famous rapper. So Diddy now puts 2 and 2 together and was like, yo, we are broken up or on a break and you're out in Vegas with my iconic rapper friend and Antonio's there. Did anything happen? And at that time, she didn't tell him anything about his breast. She didn't tell him anything about flirting or nothing, okay? Diddy gets upset and says, yo, why would you go, listen to this, Diddy says, why would you go to another man's freak off? Again, finally we get some clarification that these things happen in the entertainment circle. This is the first time that we're having this on the transcripts in a federal case that Diddy is saying, yo, why are you going to another man's freak offs? This is not just Diddy's world. This is some other entertainers and Diddy's iconic rapper friend, okay? So they go on to testify that Antonio comes over and Diddy, it's up for speculation whether she wanted to or Diddy made her do it, but she did some stuff with her mouth until he was finished, okay? All right, so now so that night ends, okay? That was their big night. Over the next few days, they start texting each other, yo, that night was crazy. They're talking about June 18th. That night was crazy. Anyways, maybe we should break up. Maybe we should spend a few days together to see how things go, but ultimately maybe we could be friends. A couple of months go by. They text each other back and forth. I really love you. I really miss you. You know what? I think things have gone on like too bad. You can keep the house. Keep in mind, now Diddy is dealing with a federal investigation, right? Because this is like July 2024. He hasn't been arrested yet, but his houses have been raided. We have seen the CNN videotape, and we know about Cassie. Of course he's gonna call Jane and be like, yo, the last thing I need is another fight. I can't put hands on another girl, and I can't get caught with any more freak-offs. So he is trying to just ease the situation. Baby, I love you. Let's be friends. I miss you, but things that's... Diddy is trying, he is in, what do you call that when you're protective mode? Anyways, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Anyway, so months go by, okay? I'm almost, 2 more pages and then I could get to your questions. Woo, I did this pretty good, 45 minutes. So July 15th, 2024, they fly together to Miami to spend some time together. Again, Diddy is just managing her. That's all he's doing. He is giving her what she wants so that she doesn't open up a civil case. She's giving her what she wants so she doesn't go and talk to the feds, but ultimately she ended up doing it because she was subpoenaed. Diddy is just managing her. At this time, he has lawyers. He knows he's gonna get arrested. He knows things are gonna go down for him. He's managing her, okay? They see each other in Miami. They stay at the Four Seasons. He gives her the princess treatment. And they have one last freak off, okay, with Paul. Notice he's doing it with Paul. Paul is his boy. Paul is his trainer. And he's Jane's favorite guy. So after this big fight and after we hear about the raids or whatever, he's still doing freak offs with Jane, but he's doing it with her favorite person, which is still stupid. I would never do that. I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff if I was him, but why would you even do that when you know the feds are watching? He's just dumb. Anyways, the last time they saw each other was around August 2024. They had a visit again, but they had no freak off that night. Thank the Lord, Diddy. You actually got some sense in your head, yo. Anyways, now, just to tell you very quickly, so that was the end, the defense rests. And as you guys know, the prosecution has a chance for redirect and Diddy's defense team has a chance to redirect. Redirect came up and said, you know, basically what redirect is, just for those who don't know, you just basically get to summarize your main points. We heard her talking for the past 5 days, and they just go for a half an hour, and they just, because the jury just heard the defense for the past 2 days bring up all their points, it's just an opportunity for the prosecution to be like, I know you just heard all this stuff about her and Antonio in Vegas, but let me just remind you of what she said when she first came on the stand. So she's like, how often did Diddy push you to have freak off? She's like, all the time. How often when you declined did he get upset? All the time. One freak off attempted in June, you said, Diddy said no, and, oh, sorry, I'm reading this too fast. They brought up one freak off where Diddy asked her, said, hey, do you want to do a freak off? Jane said no. Then they actually found a text in Diddy's phone, and Diddy texted Paul and said, Paul, remember this is her favorite one, hey Paul, she's saying no, that she doesn't want to do a freak off, but Diddy says, just text her from your phone and tell her that you've been holding it back for a while, and then she's going to want to say yes, and then she's going to want you. And this is what I highlighted here. He says, if you tell her that you've been holding it for a while, we'll be in. What that sounds to me, just my opinion, I'm just telling you, when you say we'll be in, it makes me feel as if, you know, like if you have a cousin or a brother or sister or whatever, you know when you're like talking to a parent and you're like, yo, could we go out to the park? They're like, nah. Then you're like, you go to your sister's like, yo, I asked dad, he said no. And then your sister, and you make up a plan, you're like, yo, if you go ask them and you say this, whatever, trust me, he's gonna let it, and then we're gonna be able to be in. And I say that to say that the prosecution is trying to make it seem like Jane said no, and then Diddy called Paul, and that's coercion. Now, it's all up for interpretation, but does that sound like coercion to you if he says, hey, you want to do a freak off? And she says no. He calls his boy, who's his trainer and Jane's favorite worker, and says, yo, she said no, but yo, you try to text her, tell her you've been holding it. You know how much she likes your thing. She said it was your favorite. If you could try to convince her, we'll be in. Does that sound like coercion to you? Does that sound like force? Does that sound like fraud? It doesn't to me. It sounds like two idiot adult males that think they're 16 years old trying to run a train on a girl. But that's what's bad about it, is that he's a grown 55-year-old billionaire. Like, this is just stupidness, you know what I'm saying? Go out and like, anyways, whatever. Yeah, it sounds to me like two teenage boys, you know, trying to do something with a girl, and they're like, yo, you try it. Nah, you try it, you try it. That doesn't feel like coercion to me, SCX coercion. Now, I just want to tell you something very, very quickly. Like I said, redirect is speed. It's a summary of what happened. Now, let me tell you something, because y'all know that I am fair and unbiased. It's what I build my podcast around. I tell you guys what I see that's good, and I tell you guys what I see that's bad. Now, the prosecution has been doing a great job, but when I saw Maureen Comey redirect, wow, it was brilliant. She stood up there, and in 20 minutes, all of my energy that I felt that was for the defense, she literally took all that out of me and really made me think again, yo, maybe he is trafficking her under force, fraud, or coercion. Yo, maybe the defense got to me and the prosecution is right, but that's how a good lawyer can make you feel. They could change your feeling in 2 seconds. And another reason why I like being in a court is I get to see the jury. The jury was definitely on the defense side, 1,000% for the past 2 days. As soon as Maureen Comey got up there and she started redirecting and bringing everybody back, like, hey, y'all are gonna forget about that rapper. Y'all gonna forget about what happened today. You're gonna forget about all these freak-offs. This is forced fraud or coercion. There's text messages where she doesn't want to do it. There's text messages where she was with 3 guys, and after one guy, she was throwing up. Diddy didn't say, oh, you're throwing up, you don't feel good. Then he said, get back out there, you have 2 more guys left. I was like, damn, I forgot about that. She reminded me of all of the things that felt like forced fraud and coercion. It was a masterclass in bringing everybody back to their point. The government did a masterful job. However, the defense also gets their opportunity to redirect the witness. Everything that the prosecution just did and made me think that, yeah, shoot, maybe it was forced fraud and coercion. Tenny Garagos, Diddy's co-lead attorney, was like, yo, that was nice, Comey. Watch me work. My girl put up her hair and was like, Jane, boom, 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 boom. Rappers, this, Cabal, you texted him this. You're at the party. Diddy wasn't even there. Why are you giving out people's numbers? You said Paul was the best FCX you have. This, boom, boom, boom. Like, it was flawless. And she got her super flustered. She had her crying. She had Jane forgetting dates. She had Jane changing her testimony. She's like, Jane, are you changing your testimony? Because you just said earlier this morning that you didn't have a freak off at this time. She's like, oh, I forgot about that. She's like, no, Jane, you cannot do that. You testified today under oath that you didn't have, because her point was, you didn't have a freak off for 3 months. How is he forced fraud or coercing you if you're at his house, you're in LA, you're in this, was on one of their makeup times where they went for 3 months without having a freak off or whatever, one of their nights. And the defense, Tenny Garagos is saying, yo, how can you go for 3 months if that's forced fraud or coercion? What are you talking about? She goes, well, maybe it wasn't 3 months. She was like, excuse me, you cannot just change your testimony now. You testified that you did not have any freak offs for 3 months, and that is not forced fraud or coercion because he asked you during those 3 months if you wanted to. Are you down? You said no. He's like, okay. And then she's like, oh, I don't remember now. She goes, oh, hold up. Let me bring up some proof. Here, April the 20th. Didn't you say you didn't have a freakoff? April the 21st. April to this. Da-da-da. May, June. She's like, ah! It was literally like a movie. She's like, I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm so confused. I don't even understand your questions. It was a masterful, masterful job. I say all of that to say, there was nobody who won with Jane. Sorry. Cassie, because they have that tape, and Cassie was an amazing witness, I find. They made strides and they made points with her. I feel like Jane, now that she is done, she did a great job under the pressure that she was under and everything that she had to go through. I feel bad for her. My heart goes out to her. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big mental health advocate. I understand about trauma bonding. I understand why she went back. Some of you might be like, oh, she had a chance to leave. Why did she go back? Why did she go back? I know what trauma bonding is. I know why women in those situations go back. And it breaks my heart, and my heart goes out to anybody, men or women, that are in that situation. However, this is a court case, and it's all about evidence, direct evidence and circumstantial evidence, and both sides did an amazing job, so much so that I feel like it's a wash. It is a wash. And what I mean to say to that is that the defense put enough reasonable doubt in my mind for me to not, if she was the only witness, again, I'm just talking to you about today, if she was the only witness, I would not convict Diddy. Not because I don't believe her, but because I have enough reasonable doubt, and that's all the defense is trying to do. They're not trying to make it seem like he's completely innocent. Their job is to just prove that the prosecution needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense just has to prove doubt. And with Jane's testimony, unfortunately, because I do think Diddy should do some time, I definitely do think that they have enough doubt. They put enough doubt in my head, and I feel like they put enough doubt in the juror's head. Like I told you, when Maureen was on there, the jury was, okay, yeah, for real. But then when Tenny was up there, Tenny Garagos, how she closed it out, a lot of those women there were questioning. Like one of the times where she was like, oh, he made me do this to Antonio. Tenny was like, you could have left the house because you went to get Antonio, right? Yes, I went to get Antonio. Where did you go? I went through the back gate because he lives in a gated community. She's like, instead of letting Antonio come in, you could have just left. Why did you come back? But again, let's not go into trauma bonding or whatever, but prosecution was trying to say that he kept her there, and the defense was like, you opened the gate for Antonio. That was a way out. Diddy was not even anywhere near. You had to drive 2 or 3 minutes away. He couldn't have got you. Anyways, very, 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 very interesting case. Very well done on both sides. All right, let me take 5 minutes and try to answer some questions now. Woo! Yo, I need some water. I just, yo, can we get a round of applause for that, yo? Yo, come on. Let's go. It's what I do, yo. 1 hour straight talking to y'all with no breaks. Woo! Let me know how I did. Did I tell a good story? Am I a good storyteller or what, yo? Jeez, I hope everything was clear. I hope you guys got everything. Yo, man, I just took you guys through a whole day of testimony, a whole day of ups and downs. And if you guys were on an emotional roller coaster, that's how we were all feeling in there, man. Woo! Whoop, whoop! Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I got one more thing to tell y'all, but yes, I'll wait for the round of applause. Thank you, thank you. All right, so the people that were guessing if the rapper, all right, I'm getting some great jobs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Pat, I feel like you guys are giving me pats on the back. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Grand opening, grand closing. Let me tell you a part of the grand closing. For those of you who thought the rapper was Kanye, I'll tell you something that allegedly happened. Part of the alarms this morning that were going off while security was involved and people were running around mad is allegedly Kanye West flew into Newark, New Jersey last night, and apparently Kanye West was trying to get up in the courtroom today. That was part of the craziness that was happening around 9 o'clock, how I started this live. Kanye West was trying to get in the courtroom. He was banned and he was not allowed to come inside of the courtroom because they thought that that would be intimidating the witness. And it leads us to believe that the rapper that was in Vegas would have been Kanye. And we feel like Diddy probably set that up to throw Jane off. Think about it. They knew Diddy knew that his defense team was going to be talking about Vegas. He knew that she was on the stand. Why would allegedly Kanye West try to come to court today, of all days, when we're talking about Vegas? So I'm not gonna tell you that it was Kanye. I don't want to get sued. But there was a freak-off with a famous, iconic rapper, and allegedly Kanye West showed up today right in front of that courthouse in a Sprinter, and the security did not let him up because they knew what was happening. They knew what Diddy may have been up to, and they're like, you cannot sit down in here and intimidate the witness, and they did not let Kanye West in. Hey, come on, who got the best stories, yo? Come on, where you gonna get this at, yo? Let's go. This might be my best live yet. This is my best live yet, y'all. Y'all got the tea today. Yeah, mic drop. I don't want to drop my book because I need it for tomorrow. Mic drop. I should just take this off and be like, bloop, but I can't break it. It's the only mic I got. Yo, testing. 1, 2, 3. Try it out loud. What up? Yo, somebody said calm down. No, I can't calm down, man. I haven't eaten. I've had 3 cups of coffees. I'm literally going off right now off of fumes. I cannot calm down, yo. I'm feeling too good, y'all. Woo! Yo, I came here to New York to get this, man. I was so tired of trying to figure out things online. I'm just really happy. I'm proud of myself that I came out here, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I haven't slept all week to bring you this, man. The comments in these comment sections are commenting, man. This is why I'm happy. Yes, I am Jamaican. What up, Nikki? Bah, 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 bah. Put some Jamaican flags in the air. Yeah, bah, 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 bah. Woo! Yeah, man, I'm really glad y'all enjoyed that, man. How long are you staying in NYC? Yo, I'm staying here until we get a verdict. Y'all could ride with me until we get a verdict. I told you guys yesterday that the prosecution says that they might rest on Wednesday or if not Friday, and then Diddy's defense team says that, oh, I saw some Jamaican flags. Diddy's defense team said that they need a week or 2 weeks. So they're staying on schedule. I feel, and they feel, like the trial will probably be over July the 4th. That's what they're aiming. They're trying to wrap this up by July the 4th. And then the jury is not sequestered, so I guess they'll have to come in and deliberate maybe after July the 4th weekend. Who knows how long? Hope that didn't cut. I just got a phone. My phone rang. Hope that didn't cut. You guys are still there. You can hear me? Okay, perfect. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Just want to make sure. Yes? Yes? Oh, we hear some Jamaicans just on palm trees. Somebody said, can I join you? Hell yeah, come on down, yo. New York. Oh, I got thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, you can still hear me. Yeah, I'm going to be here till the end, yo. I'm going to be here to the end. You guys tune in every morning, right before I go into court, around 7:15. I got y'all. I'll give you guys the scoop. Lunchtime, I only have 45 minutes for my break. I don't even eat. That's why I'm going off of fumes right now. I come out at lunchtime. I give you guys a scoop, what's happening, and then I come out at the end of the day. I recap the lunch very quickly, and then I give you guys the rest of the day, man. This was an exhilarating week. So much good stuff going on, man. It was crazy, 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 crazy. Woo! All right. So I don't have to scroll all the way up. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll take like 5 minutes of questions. Confused on racketeering. Am I confused on racketeering? I feel like the feds still have work to do with racketeering. There's going to be 3 more witnesses that are going to be testifying tomorrow. Who knows? We still have a week, right? So they really wanted to focus on the SCX, force, fraud, and coercion. I don't know. I'm not sold on RICO yet. I'm not sold. I think they did a good job with Cassie and Mia with the SCX trafficking, force, fraud, and coercion. They did prove some RICO with some things. I just don't know if it's all the way there. He definitely will be found guilty on the last charge, which is SCX trafficking for the sake of selling, women selling themselves. But sorry, this guy is really loud. That he'll definitely get found guilty on, but that's a lesser crime. He'll get off on time served. So just know that you will hear that Diddy gets found guilty. He paid for an SCX worker and flew them across state lines. That has been proven 100 times already. He will be found guilty for that without a shadow of a doubt, but he will get off on time served. It's just like Young Thug. Young Thug got found, or he pleaded on a couple of charges and he got out on time served. Diddy is serving time right now. He'll get out on time served. The question is will he go down for SCX trafficking and or RICO? All right, somebody said thank you. You're looking a bit skinny. Get a sandwich train. Yo, I probably lost, honestly, about 10 pounds. I am not eating. I'm literally on the go. Because don't forget, tonight, I go back home and I go to the studio and I record my daily podcast because a lot of my followers don't just only want to hear about Diddy, right? I do political news, I do other entertainment news, I do viral news, so I have to go home and record that. It will be up around 11, 12 o'clock tonight. Yesterday I got it up late at 1 o'clock, so I'm doing literally like 4 shows in a day. I do a morning show, a lunch show, a dinner show, which is a wrap-up show, and then I have the podcast that's recorded and uploaded. So I'm working, y'all, but I'm not complaining. I'm loving it, man. 1,000 are here watching, only 38 in the thumbs up. No, it's not only 38 in the thumbs up, it's 309 thumbs up, man. What about juror number 6? What's the rumors on that? I actually started off with that. The rumors about juror number 6 is that I have inside information that the judge will deny the prosecution's request to strike juror number 6. We still don't know what it is, but I have somebody on the inside on Diddy's team that told me it is ridiculous what they're asking. It holds no weight. It's actually ridiculous. It's laughable that they would actually want to try to strike the juror for this. But the defense is accusing the prosecutors of doing whatever they can to get rid of as many black jurors because they feel like black people are going to be the people that get jury off, that get Diddy off. Remember, all you need is one person to say not guilty, and it will be a mistrial. And I don't think if they go all the way to the end, they're going to retry him again. If it's a jury mistrial, if it's a stupid mistrial that somebody like a lawyer does, they definitely will try it again. If it's a jury mistrial, I don't think they will do it again. What's happening tomorrow? Tomorrow is three witnesses. I didn't catch their names fully, but tomorrow 3 witnesses are, the first one is Special Agent Lemon, then Jonathan Perez, number 2, and then number 4 is a summary witness, Aurora Signcar. So 3 witnesses tomorrow. Normally when they put 3 witnesses in one day, you know, what is wrong with this guy, bro? Jeez. Yo, remember when they put 3 people together? They don't have that much to say, but it could still be impactful. So tune in and I'll let you know, you know? All right, is KK testifying? We still don't know. I think they might bring her in, or she is a co-conspirator. They have said that she is a co-conspirator, 100%. If she testifies for them, they're gonna have to give her immunity. That will be the only way, because if they put her up on the stand, she's gonna plead the 5th, and then they'll have to give her immunity. What I think is they'll assess the situation, see if they need her, if they feel like they have a win. Again, my assessment is that it was a push. Maybe the prosecution is like, yo, we have a win with Jade, we have a win with Mia, we have a win with Cassie. Yo, we don't even need KK, let's convict Diddy. If they feel like they don't have a win and they feel like they need to bring in some other, you know, smoking evidence, I feel that's when they'll give up KK and give her immunity. What is wrong with this guy, bro? Yo, New York City is a different place, man. All right, can you let us know? Okay, all right, sorry, I gotta go. Why is Jane identified? Jane requested to be. Cassie, from what I heard, so the question is, why is Jane's identity a secret, but Cassie's wasn't? From what I've heard is that if you file a civil lawsuit under your name, you can no longer ask to be a Jane Doe. If you don't have a civil lawsuit and nobody knows because what sense would it make for Cassie to put out a civil lawsuit, tell all of her business in an 80-page lawsuit, but then come here and be like, oh, can you hide my name? Yeah, we already know everything about you. But this Jane Doe who's on the stand now, she didn't put her story out. She's not suing civilly or has done anything civilly. So of course she could say, yo, I'm a victim. I didn't ask to be here. I don't want to be here. I'm subpoenaed. Please don't put out my name. So if you put out your name, you can't ask to be a Jane. But if you haven't put out your name, then you can ask to be Jane. I hope that makes sense. Oh, I think I have a super chat coming. Sorry guys, I'm running through this. Courtney, thank you very much for the super chat. Woo! Hold on, there's a super chat here, they say. Hold on. Oh, here's one. Yo, D Fitz, what up, D Fitz, for the super chat? Thank you so much. Thank you, man. I was working for the super chats today. I'm sweating. I'm a little bit dizzy, but I had fun, man. Courtney, thank you. I was definitely working for those super chats today, man. I was working for y'all, man. I felt like I was on stage, yo. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Keep it coming in. All right, now that I'm done with the list, any other last questions? Any other last questions you guys want me to answer you, or do I turn this off and go home and start the normal podcast? Trent, thanks for the update. Everybody know who Jane is? Yes, but I cannot say, or else I would not be allowed back in the courtroom. That's up for y'all to discuss, okay? All right. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. All right, as we end off, I just wanted to tell you guys that in the description, our lives are sponsored by Aura. Aura is the #1 digital security platform. They do amazing work. We got you guys a 14-day free trial. It's in the comment section below. If you want to support, click that link. They give you a free 14 days. What Aura does is they go out on the web and see if any of your information has been put out on the dark web. If you ever paid anything with your Apple phone, if your iPhone, your computer, or anything like that, Aura could make sure that none of your information has leaked out to scammers or marketers or whatever for free. It's free for 14 days. See if any of your information has been put out on the dark web. If it has, they can take it off for you, clean up your stuff for free, and then if you want, after your 14-day free trial, you could pay for them. They got us, our loyal followers, a 14-day free trial to see if any of your information has been leaked, if anybody's hacking you, if you ever have weird spam calls, if you get weird stuff in your email, you're worried about your social security card, Aura can help you out with that. Click the link below, go Aura. Yeah, yo, my daily listeners know about Aura, man. They used to be the jersey badge sponsor for Minnesota Timberwolves. So shout out to Aura. Thank you guys for sponsoring the live. Thank you guys for hanging out with the live. Thank you all for the motivated comments. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m., all right? I love y'all. Out louder.